Guys, we are in Nyandarua County, all Kalau to be specific, and I am joined by the beautiful guest called Soni, short form of Muthoni, and we're standing on her farm. Her farm, guys. You need to hear how old she is and her experience with potatoes, because that's where we are. We're at the potato farm. Yeah. So hi Soni.
Hi.
How are you?
Very well.
Yes.
Karibu.
Asante.
Karibu Kalau.
Asante, I'm finally here, but the baridi, though it's not so bad.
It's not so bad today.
Yeah. So we want to get to know more about you. Tell us what you do apart from farming, how you got into farming, what was the reason for it. Just, I want to know you better.
Yeah. So my name is Faith Muthoni, aka Soni. Everyone calls me Soni.
Yeah.
So yeah, Soni. I'm 23. I'm a student. I just finished uni couple of months ago, 2 months ago.
Graduation.
Tunangojea. I was in the University of Nairobi studying economics, and I am a farmer. Ni mkulima.
Economics, farming, however you meet. Ebu tuambie, what was the reason? How did you end up not doing, economics, or in terms of like, how did you delve into farming?
Okay, so I still practice whatever I learned in school.
Okay.
I have my 8 to 5, so I'm still in that whole vibe.
Yeah.
Very new to the industry, but tunaendelea.
Yeah.
But now farming, I started farming when I was still a student. I was in third year.
Nice.
Yeah, I was in third year. So how did it happen? We are really, sisi ni wakulima family. Like my grandparents were very big on it.
Yeah.
And when they passed on, now the land was left a bit bare.
Yeah.
Just kupanda miti, and then, it's just left like that. And, the fertility also just inaenda tu chini, like it's not utilizing. So something my grandpa used to tell me is that, there's nothing as bad as sitting on something. Kama, like now how you have the land and you're just sitting on it, you're not doing anything. You're in Nairobi,
you're just saying tuko na ushago, but you have nothing to show. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So now when COVID had started hitting, when it had started coming, so I was trying to look for something to do.
Yes.
And something that I love, something I'm passionate about. So I told my dad, we go to Shags. Let's go and see the farm.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, as in for real, Ama. I was like, yeah, for real. So we came here. There wasn't much, just a bit of maize, ile tu ya kukuliwa, for home use.
Yeah.
And now I started talking to the people around here. Nice. We had a foreman here who used to chunga the place. And so I asked him, unajua nini inapandwa huku? What does well here? Yeah. And he was like, unajua viazi, mostly mahindi, cabbage, vitu kama hizo. And he was like, do you want something small ama do you want kitu utauza? Yeah. And I was like, nataka kitu nitauza because, I'm not here, so something, a cash crop. Yes. So we started planting maize. When we began, we were not too sure about what we are doing, and you want to hope you're not getting conned. And
that's always the thing with biashara.
You have to be open to whatever is going to happen, but also very vigilant, and you make sure you have good advisors. So I was talking a lot to the guy who stays here, the foreman. Yeah. So he was the one who showed me, where you buy the seeds, how you plow the land. Yes. Yeah, and for a first time, it was very costly. Like I was just
overwhelmed.
I was overwhelmed. Yeah. At some point, my parents were asking me, "Kweli unataka kuendelea?" Because also the prices, if you're selling it at the farm, the prices are so low because everybody is planting potatoes. Yeah. Okay. So you can sell a bag at 900. Like, believe you me, even to get that bag from scratch is not even that 900 or anywhere near that. Yeah, so it had been a journey, and now when we started and we started with around 2.5 acres to Kapanda. Some of the places had already been planted on, some of the places were they hadn't been planted on before, so we had to like cut trees, especially this side.
Yeah.
We had to cut trees, and so you can imagine how expensive that is.
The whole
to let
from
a tractor,
scratch.
and yes, you cut. I have never seen such big potatoes. You know, it was very fertile.
Yeah, yeah, because it was almost like virginal, but not really.
Yeah, not really. Yeah, so we did the whole thing, and now when time for harvesting came, like I would be in the car online in class, because I'm like, I'm not missing, because you know you can be ripped off. Yeah, because you employ people to come harvest, and these guys work till lunchtime. So you're trying to really maximize on that time and make sure, because if they don't finish, they'll have to come again the next day.
That you have to pay them.
And you have to pay them again, because you pay them hourly.
With the packaging, sorry, is it a specific, you know, do you need to buy this pack, kwa gunia, ama? How is that?
Hey, that was another. My first time was really a story, because so I bought the gunias and everything. But okay, the person who was advising me really didn't advise me from alini advice from this side of Nyandarua, how they pack. So Sime packed 50 kg to around 50-60 kg. So we've packed and everything. Then the lorry comes. It was more of like a pickup, because I thought the yield would be kidogo.
So how many bags were you able to get?
There were about 100 bags.
Of potatoes?
Of potatoes. Viazi.
50 kg bags?
Yeah, 50, 60, 70 kg bags.
So you pack them?
And me, I'm just there like, okay, And they are big. They look really like they were looking so good, because I remember I had invested so much in fertilizer. Like I just didn't want anything to go wrong. Then they don't fit in the pickup.
In the pickup?
Yeah. Okay. And this guy tells me, Madam, hizi zingine labda tuache. Hey.
You don't even want to hear this.
I don't even want to hear. And that guy from Marikiti said by 3 a.m. market inafunguliwa. If they are not here by 3 a.m. wejua hazitaenda. Na zikilala hapa unalipa storage ya zilale Marikiti. Me, I was like, okay, so I told Dad, because my father has a pickup. Yeah, I told him now, itabidi umezika.
We need to now. There's been a crisis.
My dad is asking me, si ya kubeba viazi. Me, I was like, we don't really have a choice. And I'm so grateful because of their support. You know, we managed the next day, but now when the guy who's the broker looked at my viazis, he was like, this is such wrong packaging. Like, this is the smallest gunia there is in this market. And me, I was just like, oh. So I ended up selling them for like half the price that.
And what was the price then?
The price then was 2,800. But the guy just told me, okay, so what we are going to do, if you're going to allow, we sell it like at 1,600, and I'm sure they'll go by like lunchtime. Yeah. Then next time, instead of they stay here and no one is going to buy them for that price. For that price, yeah. So I just told him it's okay. Nimejua sasa next time. So by lunchtime, zilikuwa zimeuzwa.
All of them?
All of them.
All the 100 that you had
all packed? The bags went. He just called me by lunchtime and he was like, we're done. So this is how much you're paying for the truck, for the driver. Tukitoa hizo kila kitu ndio inabaki nikaambia sawa.
Was it something good?
Yeah, it was better than I expected, because it was a journey. Yeah.
Wow, you had a serious experience.
But from there, nimekuwa pro sasa.
Nimekuwa pro?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a break and come back and hear now about the whole process. Now that we've talked about it backwards, so let's now come into the planting and that whole process, because now we've heard about
the history
of these potatoes.
Yeah.
All right. So stay tuned. Welcome back. If you have just joined us, we're here with Soni, aka Muthoni, or it's Muthoni, aka Soni, who has told us a whole story, a history behind how she started potato farming and the challenges that she experienced while at it. And now we're going to come back to the planting. We're going to talk about the cost of, planting potatoes. What do we need to pay attention to? How is the method? I can see it's more like
we have furrows and everything.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so potatoes are like they're very hands-on.
Okay.
Yeah. So you buy the seeds. The seeds are basically like the small potatoes that haziku.
Oh, those are the seeds?
Yeah, those are the potato seeds. They just look like small potatoes.
They're small warus.
Yeah, they're small warus. So if it's your first time now, obviously you have to buy a lot. Because if you've, like, sasa when I harvest this, you know, I'll have some.
Yes,
I'll have some seeds, so I don't have to. So sometimes if you're not planting again, you can sell your seeds.
So for like, if you're doing an acre, for example, how many would you need and what's the cost?
So they are sold in 50 kg bags.
In 50 kg bags.
It ranges from, now depending on which farmer you buy from, it ranges from between 2 and 3K.
For that 50 kg bag to start?
To start. So for like an acre, I would use about 2.5 bags.
2.5 bags.
Yeah. I would use 2.5 bags. You'd rather have more than less.
More than less.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would use like around 2.5 bags. Let's say like here, I think we used like 4 bags, 4 or 5 bags. But you know, we had planted before, so we had the other seeds.
Okay.
So the process is just,
the soil is bare.
prepare the land.
Prepare the land.
Prepare the land, make the furrows, dig vizuri. You have to plant before the rains, because when you plant kukinyesha, zitaoza.
Oh, zitaoza, yes, because warus and water
don't go. So yeah, before the rains come, when it's dry, so you unaeka the seed, put some, there's a manure called DAP.
Yes.
Unaiweka ndani, then you make sure umefunika vizuri, because it's also the dry season. Because of the sun, it will scorch the viazis and zitakufa. Yeah, so you have to.
So you need to put them deep kabisa, ama wherever you.
No, it has to be deep. It has to be a bit deep because of also animals like the birds and everything, and just in case it rains also, you don't want it to just be swept away.
That's true.
So the thing with viazi now is you really have to know the ratio of the fertilizers. Like when you're putting now the DAP, if you put too much, inachomeka. If you put too little, it doesn't grow. Yeah. So those are like the logistics that I was being taught as you
were coming. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've done preparing the land. We have the 2 seeds, the tiny ones. We have the DAP fertilizer. We've planted now. So how do we manage that now as they grow? Do we water them a lot? Do we depend on the rain? How is it for potatoes?
Just because you've planted just before the rainy season, you don't really need to water them in this area. That is, unajua kuna huko pali it's very dry.
Yes.
Yeah, but we've been having an issue with the water. So we have a reservoir. So tunaweka sprinklers zingine. Zinachapa. One of the biggest issues we have in this area is the cold. Viazis hate cold.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So they zinachomeka. You know, you just find they're white, they're just chomekaing.
On the leaves now?
The maintenance, it actually takes a lot of the cost of planting viazi. That's actually the most expensive part of planting viazi. Leave alone the seeds. The fertilizers are so expensive.
Like DAP, for example, is about how much?
Semi 2,500. Yeah. And that's like 5 kg. Like, it's very expensive. So if you look, and you know, if you mice, you won't get what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you really have to maybe like know where you're buying from, the quality, and sometimes you just have to sacrifice.
You do.
And just buy it. Yeah. So kuna hii inaitwa booster. We spray it because of the cold. That's another one that is very expensive. So you mix it with water in the pump. So you have to hire the pump if you don't have the pump. So you can imagine hire people to but if you don't do that, they die.
What?
They die. Zinakauka because of the cold. They chomeka. You go and uproot and you'll just
like, these are waste.
Yeah.
So it means the first I don't know if you can, first months or first weeks, months, I don't know, they're very they're very delicate. They need to be taken care of. Because
the kind of this variety that we plant here is called shangi. It's called shangi. People like planting, like now farmers like planting shangi because it takes a very short time to mature. 3 months.
And you already have your potatoes.
Umetoa, umeuza. Yeah. And then also it takes a short time to cook also. So that's why even kwa mahoteli what this is the one, like for local open air markets, shangi is good. Yeah.
You can also tell the type. You can say this is shangi, this is maybe Irish or what. Okay. So if they take 3 months, how are you, now on the farm, how will you be able to know that they're almost ready?
You know they're almost ready when you start seeing the flowering happening. Like you can see these ones. Yeah. When you start seeing the flowering happening, it means zinafika. They're getting ready.
They're almost getting ready.
They're almost getting ready. And then now the flowers fall. And that's when you know you need to harvest.
You need to harvest, okay. So we've done planting, we've done the maintenance, we've seen how to identify when potatoes are ready. So now in this process, there are always just those pests, those diseases that attack, you know, plants. So for potatoes, which ones, you know, get to, you know, spoil the process as you go?
Blight. A lot of blight. And then aphids are also a very big problem. They suck the sap out of the, and you find so many holes and discoloration of the leaves. You can see them. You can see them here. So those are the two main ones. But nonetheless, we have dawas that are sprayed even if you don't see the discoloration. There's a routine that they follow. They just have to put the dawa on them. So whether you can see but of course haiwezi kosa, but there's this routine that they have. You know, after a couple of weeks the guy will call me and tell me nahitaji kununua hii dawa. Tunahitaji kupiga booster. You know, because you're not going to wait for the cold to come and kill them.
And then now you're like, okay, by the way, would have done.
Become a sweater. When you feel like, hey, it's getting now a bit cold, you just pump the the booster.
Nice. So for you now, when you go, I don't know how it is in Nyandarua, but for me I know warus. When I go to the local spaces, warus are either, chipos are either 80 to 100 at most. Hata ikipita labda ni 120 kwa wale wanapandisha. But of course in the high-end restaurants, it's 250 for a plate of fries.
My gosh. If some of the locals here would hear some things like those ones, they would be like, shit, this is crazy.
Yeah. Because for you, especially because it's your shago, if you're to enter a hotel, you know, here, especially in shags, you don't find them at
to cafe.
How much would a plate of fries go for?
Hey, if kienda sana, let's say 80 bob.
Yeah?
Yeah, because this is a potato growing place. Like if you go somewhere and someone tells you 150, you'd be like, siniende nichukue viazi nipike, you know. Yeah. And they know most of the people that you go to cafes and ask for chips ni Nairobians. Obviously, because here ni mandazi na chai and someone just goes back home.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, on the way we had mandazi and chai, so yes. But for you as a viewer, do comment what's the highest price you've had to pay for fries and what's the lowest, because sometimes I feel like we're being ripped off of warus. You'd rather go home and make those warus yourself. Okay. Even as we continue with potatoes, I think we'll also get into, just so that, you know, we can show people like know how to approve warus. Exactly. Before they become French fries and crisps. Yeah. I guess we'll get into the digging, at least we see. Maybe for the ones that are ready.
Yeah, we'll go and check these ones that are flowering. And we tour and we see how they look.
Okay. So far for you, do you feel like potatoes are doing well? Because of course potatoes always hike. I mean, at one point warus buckets are being sold at 800. And here at the farm I could easily come to you and probably sell and buy from you rather. So how is it when the prices are hiked, when there are no warus in the market? How is that like?
I feel like of late there's really been an issue with potatoes, and you know, potatoes and maize are like the leading cash. They're the ones that are pushing our economy. So sometimes I just think about it and I'm like, where are we even going as an economy? Because let's say like we had this case in Elgeyo Marakwet, a bag, a 50 kg bag of potatoes is going for 500. Those are 2 plates of chips in Java. In Java. So the farmer is suffering.
It is.
Because you know, your expenses and the cost, because guys still have to eat fries, so as we have to be here farming, but there's nothing that we are reaping out of it. There are not many people that are going to have those connections and logistics to go and sell in Marikiti and still get a profit and everything like that. So guys who sell at the farm, it's really a hand-to-mouth thing, you know. You sell, you get your 200, 300 bob extra, and you buy seeds again to plant again. That's why you find some people now just subsistence farming too. Yeah, you just find people doing other jobs, but you have a big shamba, but you're not getting anything out of it.
Exactly. The value is you just rather put your sukuma wikis and what if it's
cabbage,
because you're also spending a lot, as you said, in terms of the fertilizers that you're using. Okay. Probably for anyone who wants to start potato farming, what are some of the things they need to note about this specific farming, especially because you've talked about price, you've talked about the market as well. So what are those, give them some tips.
Okay. So if you're planning to start farming potatoes as a cash crop to sell in the market, just don't start like me from this side. From the side of the shamba, like first go to the market. Okay. First find a broker. First find where you're going to sell. If you're going to supply to hotels in Nairobi, like a constant chain of how things will be going for you. Because it's very disappointing when you've farmed and you've invested and then you have your bags over there and you have nowhere to take them. Yeah. Okay. So start from that end. Get advice from people who have done it before, and ask them like for brokers. Because let me tell you, in this business, there are two ends to the story. There are those who are really, really suffering, and then you'll see some other people. They're like, they're flourishing, and you're like, they're flourishing. Which potatoes are these that you're really? Yeah. So you start from that side, because if you look, you can find places that you'll be supplying, and now if you're a constant supplier, it becomes easier for you because you're transporting in bulk and all those now logistics, you'll be able to know economies of scale and all that stuff. Yeah. So I would just advise start from that end. Do your market research first, and then come back down. Because this other side now, you just need to know logistics, fertilizer and stuff like that, and those are things you can learn on the job, on the ground. Vitu
kwa ground are different. So that's just one major tip that people.
That's one. I wish I knew that when I was beginning.
When you're beginning.
Yeah.
It's okay, you're a testimony now, guys. Guys will be able to know. Okay, so that's very important. I think many people just rush into the whole space of farming because you have land, which is good. I mean, it's good that you have land, but it's like, where are you going to take your produce after? Because many farmers that we've had on the show, everyone always complain about market, the market. And it's like, how do you solve that? And it's what you're saying. Go to that extreme go to the end.
Yeah, start from the end.
As you come.
Forward,
like so you can be able to know how you go through that. Okay, now we're wrapping up, but from this, because all this is warus. So how many bags are you expecting?
From this, because it hasn't been the best season. As you can see, kule zimechomeka sana. Yeah, so this would be like, let's say, 2 lorries wouldn't be tired. That's about what? Maybe just over 100.
Over 100.
If we are very lucky.
Guys, over 100 warus. What would you do if you had all these warus? What would you do apart from eating waru and chips?
Chips.
Yeah. Okay, so as we finish, you could probably share your contact.
So my telephone number is 0702 156 917.
So it's like a tiny one.
What? Anyway, that is the harvesting process.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Thank you guys for staying tuned. I mean, you can see these warus.
Tiny, they're still growing.
They're still growing, but so far this is what we've been able to get. So anyone can plant warus. So be sure to catch us next week, same time but a different place, right here on Kilimo Diaries.
You are watching TV 47, the home